Okay.
Hi everybody, I'm Sarah.
I'm Jonathan.
And this was class number 2 of Lindy 201, The Momentum Strikes Back.
Yes, so we gave a whole bunch of momentum exercises because we're trying to work on the forward on 2 and the differences of forward on 2 versus forward on 1 and the exit on 5.
And just momentum in general, so gave these exercises that were really good ways to gauge how well your momentum is functioning in partnership and in a dance.
Which should tie into improving the forward on 2 movements. So the first exercise we did was this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So that shows that without momentum, dance doesn't really go anywhere. It just stays in place. And that both of us were keeping our rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
So we tried that. And then we went to a second exercise where we did the pass by. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
We could also do that holding on.
Right. Let's do it this way.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Let's do it at a diagonal as well.
And this way.
Yep, this way.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And that is a lead follow dynamic because on that first 1, 2, on the rock step, we turn our chest towards each other, and that comes back to the principles we talked about in the other class, how we want to mirror each other. So because we are mirroring each other, and because there is a little bit of, there's connection here, and Sarah can feel me turning, she will turn as well.
Mm-hmm. The interesting thing to note about that one is it feels exactly like a normal swing out until he doesn't catch me on my back.
Right.
And so my momentum that's traveling down the line carries me past him, but my connection to him turns me as I travel down that line. So these exercises are really great for checking for the follows. Am I assuming? Am I actually responding to what my lead has given me with his lead? So directionality, momentum, speed, power, that kind of thing.
Right. So we gave you guys those 2 exercises and gave you 8 counts. We asked the followers to close their eyes, and it was the lead's choice to see what they would do. And then we moved on to a third exercise, which ties it back into our forward on 2, where we showed it was like a forward on 2 pass by. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we kept going with our steps. And we had it all in a line. We asked you to do different variants of energy, and so we saw people going really far, not far at all, really far, all different variances of distances based upon the energy. And then we brought that into a swing out.
Mm-hmm.
4 on 2, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And we talked about stretch.
Yep. And so we talked that our stretch forms a C shape, and that our stretch and open, it's coming from this stretching away. So we're stretching this rubber band, and you should still be able to click your heels.
Oh, I wasn't.
Because if you can't, your weight's too far back. And we talked about how it's not coming from a lean back, it's not coming from a sitting awkwardly on a chair, and it's not coming from canting our feet and our hips backwards. It's coming from this C shape and this stretch away from our cores. Very athletic. And then we also talked about how in closed position, it's a similar C-shaped stretch. Let's see, this is probably the easiest for everybody to see it. But again, it's caused by the stretch of our cores as our momentum has carried us away from each other. But there's still that C shape, not leaning back, not leaning in, C shape. The other thing we talked about was we had questions on follow arm placement, especially with the eyes closed, and people not knowing quite how to get it into a comfortable place without a visual cue. So we talked about having our arms out here with a little bit of space away from our ribs, like we have this beautiful diamond bracelet on our wrist that we want to admire, and then having it so that if it's here, when I'm brought in, it just naturally connects up, first with this part, and then I just naturally place my hand there. So the connection just automatically, fluidly happens. I don't have to actually reach for it or place my hand.
And we also talked about our Batman frame, as we called it. where our frame is going to be loose and it's going to be relaxed until we need it, similar to what Batman has with his cape, where his cape is loose until he sends electrical current through it, and then it has frame, and then it goes away once the current is taken away. Similar with our swing outs, or similar with our dancing in general, we have tension here, and our frame engages, but in between, we don't have any tension in our frame.
Yeah.
And then we talked real quick about an outside turn.
Yes.
Trying to keep all these momentum principles in mind as we did an outside turn. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And we had a turn starting on 5. There's a lot of different ways you could do that turn.
Yeah.
And then we also, at the very end, we talked about how this could be easily turned into a free spin. Like so.
Yep. And we talked about how the first 4.5 counts of that are your swing out. And really what ends up happening at the end is just a little bit of different arm placement and momentum directionality for the follow that creates those turns. But the basic is actually the swing out.
Yep.
And let's show those quickly from a different angle. So you can see it, yep, from this side, yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
And that was our class.
Hope your head wasn't getting cut off there.
It's the feet that are important.
All right.
All right.